Welcome to part 3 of making maple syrup. So today is the third day of boiling for us. Unfortunately, yesterday we weren't able to boil. The weather here was terrible. We had a bit of an ice storm. I'm using air quotes because if anybody was in the Ottawa and Ontario area, Ottawa, Ontario, and like other parts of Ontario and Quebec, probably back in like 1998, you'll remember the big ice storm. People in our area here, like I think it was a couple of weeks with no power. It was quite a bit of power outages, a lot of destruction. So luckily it wasn't that bad yesterday. I'll show you a little bit. This is our wood pile. You can see that's ice. You know, you got big chunks of ice. You can't really see that too well. Yeah, so anyways, today it's pretty cold. I think it's -4 degrees, feels like -15 degrees Celsius, which is pretty terrible considering a few days ago it was like +15 degrees, so that's like a 30-degree temperature swing. So anyways, it's a little chilly. But anyways, as you can see, the sap now very different than the other day. This back one is a lot more concentrated. The front one is still the preheater. Now the fire's only been going on for about an hour, so nothing is boiling, you know, very strongly yet, but by the end of the day for sure. This is still not quite maple syrup. There's still a lot of water left to be boiled outlet so that the sugar concentrates more. So by end of day today, I suspect this will be able to be boiled down and then canned or jarred as maple syrup. So stay tuned for that. I will show you in our bins. I mean, you can see the ice on it. This is almost emptied and only that much left in here. Another thing that's important to do when you're doing maple syrup, especially outside, if you have a sieve, is to sort of go in the morning and to collect any ice and sort of slush stuff, because there's no sugar in here. The water will freeze before the sugar content freezes. So I think back in the day, you know, First Nations and Native Americans, when they were making maple syrup, I believe that this is sort of how they did it, where they'd have some sap and they'd freeze it. Well, not completely freeze it, but they'd let the top part freeze, and they would always skim the ice off the top. And what was left behind is a more concentrated sap. So this is essentially doing the same thing as that, but it's obviously taking a lot longer. So you just kind of go in the morning and scoop out any bit of ice from your sap, because that's just pure water, and there's no sense boiling it if you can just remove it easily with a sieve. So there you go. That's part 3 for now. Stay tuned, because we'll probably be out of sap by today, and you'll be able to see part 4 pretty soon. So stay tuned for that.